This video is brought to you by the Deck of Many and their Big Bad Booklet series. Hello and welcome back to The Gallant Goblin. My name is Grady, and since I'm supposed to be the resident Magic the Gathering expert around here, we thought I'd take a stab at unboxing the 4 booster boxes we received from WizKids for Mythic Odysseys of Theros. If you want to see what else we got from WizKids, you can click the eye in the corner of the screen to see Theo's unboxing video. Otherwise, Mythic Odysseys of Theros is the latest Icons of the Realms booster set. It comes out August 2020 and supports the book of the same name, which is a setting book for Theros, a plane from the Magic the Gathering universe. It also introduces the Mythic Monster mechanic, which lets a high challenge rating monster come back from the dead after you defeat it the first time, and it'll have new abilities to challenge you on round 2. If you're watching this video after this set has come out, click the eye in the corner of the screen to see our full set review, where we show every figure in the set on a turntable and tell you the lore behind them. 2 other quick things before we get started. First, a giveaway. Be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video sharing an adventure you'd like to go on, whether as the DM or a player, in Theros or a similar Greece-inspired setting. When the set comes out, we'll draw one of you to win a booster box from this set. Second, if you do want to play in Theros, you'll want magic items to help you on your way. We wrote a supplement on dmsguild.com with over 100 magic items you can add to your Theros campaign, and the fan favorite Grey Merchant of Asphodel as a wandering merchant from whom you can acquire the items. It's actually on sale for 25% off right now as part of the DM's Guild Christmas in July sale, and your purchase helps us put out more cool content for you to enjoy. You can find a link to the product in the video description below, along with timestamps to see each of the figures we unboxed today. Okay, let's get these boxes open. So, first box. Okay, this thing is... All right. So the first thing you'll note is that this actually comes on a clear base. So starting with this set, the larges will be on clear bases, and eventually they're transitioning all of these minis to clear bases from the black ones that you'll still see on some of these smaller figures here. The text is also quite a bit more see-through so that you can kind of just read what's underneath, mainly your terrain, your grids, without too much interference. So this one is called the Emissary of Purphoros, is number 32 of 45. And so this is a bull. It's based on a Magic the Gathering card. And Purphoros is a god of the forge. So he's based on Hephaestus from Greek mythology. And this creature is supposed to be a Nyx-born creature that kind of represents his will in Theros. And if you can look up close to it, you can kind of see a lot of like, it's supposed to mimic a star field that is what a lot of the creatures from the heavens that were born in the heavens look like. And in this case, it's kind of represented by glitter that's mixed in to a layer of the plastic. Our next figure here, if I can get it out, it has horns and has pierced its way through the bubble wrap, and so it's a little bit stuck. We have another bull-looking creature. This is number 6. This is a basilisk. So this is quite a different look than the traditional D&D basilisk. It only has 4 legs rather than the extra ones. But other than that, while some of the creatures in the Theros setting, because they're inspired by magic and magic art, will look different from your traditional D&D figures, a lot of the stat blocks will be similar, and so this is going to have its, its petrifying gaze and a lot of the same stats. This next one is the Anvilwrought Raptor, number 4. This is a small creature, flying, a little bird. This one is kind of made out of like bronze, or it's a metal construct creature. These are invented by Purphoros, the god of the forge there, and kind of gifted to his followers on the mortal realms. And then some of his most gifted followers learn how to make these. Well, okay, here you have a creature that has quite a base on it. This one is a nymph, Nymph Naiad, number 15. The name would imply that we're going to get other types of nymphs as well. Naiads, I believe, are nymphs of the of water or the ocean, and so these would be often used as kind of, they would be worshippers of Thessa, god of the sea. Or just you couldn't encounter them by any type of water. here, our large for this one is number 26, the Fleecemane Lion. So this is a lion. He is definitely better looking, I would say, than the lion from the Dragon Heist set, which had a bit of a weird look and a bit of a weird pose. This one looks very much like a lion with a very copious mane, which is hence the name. And if you look at the art for it in the book, it's kind of very much got Fabio-style locks there. Our next figure is the Night Hag, number 9 of 45. Again, I think it's a little bit translucent, perhaps. Holding it up there, see? And again, it's got a lot of the little glitter kind of mixed in with it as well. Hags kind of represent a lot of the Fates style creatures from Greek mythology in Theros, although they don't occupy quite that same space because there is also a god of destiny. But you'll typically find them in the underworld for night hags, and so there's a stat information about them in there. Here we have what looks like probably another Ghostblade Eidolon. Or Eidolon. Apologies on the pronunciation. Number 18. So these are creatures that when mortals die, they go to the underworld, as would be the case in Greek mythology. But there's a way for them to come back to the mortal realm. And those are creatures called the Returned, which is what the Grey Merchant here is as well. But when they come back to life, they lose all memory of themselves, and their soul is kind of essentially severed. So they're kind of this mindless body, and their soul forms kind of a mirror creature called an Eidolon, and it kind of just drifts around and is drawn to, I think, places of kind of magic. But it can't really do much because it has no body. And then we have another nymph here. This is the Lampad, number 5. And I really do not remember what element those are associated with. I want to say maybe fire or the woods, but I really don't know. All right, third box. We have one that's actually in its packaging. Here we have number 31, and this is the Thought Render Lamia. And it is quite a thing. It has quite a scary face, and then kind of the body of an animal. And that's a little different because Lamias are usually kind of almost centaur-esque creatures in D&D lore. So again, this one looks very, very different, but I'm sure you can come up with some idea for it, either almost like a wingless sphinx even, or some sort of chimera creature. Next we have Taranika, Regent of Akros. And so this is number 38, so this is a rare. I'm actually not familiar with this character, which is a little embarrassing. Akros is one of the 3 major cities or polis in Theros, and it is the Sparta analog in this case. And so as the regent, that would imply almost that this is maybe set after the king has been chosen as a champion of Purphoros, which would imply it's set kind of in the current Theros Beyond Death magic set. But other than that, yeah, I don't remember seeing a mention of her in the book. But she could be a soldier or a general or a commander, or a stand-in for your Akroan Hoplites, which are a unique stat block in Theros. Over here we have one of the new races introduced, the Leonin Swiftclaw, number 10 of 45. So the Leonin are catfolk type race, but because culturally and stat-wise, they were considered to be very distinct from the Tabaxi. Wizards of the Coast chose to basically make them their own playable race, and they're kind of much more lion-like. And so that's what this is. So this could be a playable character or a creature that you fight. These are creatures that most of the Leonin don't worship the Theros gods or the Greek gods that are in the setting, and so they can be antagonists for people who do worship the gods. And then finally, we have Triton, Master of Waves, number 22. And so the Triton are, I guess, they're a sea-based race. There are, I think, a few of these minis in other sets. They don't quite look the same as this one because the Tritons, I think, in D&D have more of a fishtail, I want to say. I may be remembering this wrong, whereas this one obviously has feet. But very impressive looking figure. Some nice detailing on the clothing and the impressive fins that are kind of distinctive of them. And these are kind of like, these are creatures that do recur throughout that setting. All right, last box. If you watched our unboxing video, you know our camera conks out occasionally, and so that's what happened just now. Theo took the opportunity in the middle, though, to inform me that Tritons do in fact have legs normally, so correction. All right, let's see what's in this last box. Another fairly big one with something pink coming out of its nostrils. That's never a good sign. Probably want to social distance from this creature, but it is our number 30 Catoblepas. Okay, so this is an interesting one because it is actually a creature from Bolo's Guide to Monsters, but it does not look anything like the art in that one. And that one's kind of like a brown anteater looking thing. In Theros, they kind of reappropriate some of the stat blocks with its own lore and own creatures, and it being magic again, they use their own art. I don't know if there was actually art for this one in the book because they didn't present a separate stat block for it. But lore-wise, it's supposed to represent, I guess, like a herder who got overproud of his herd of cows, and the gods decided to punish him and turn him into something like this. It's Greek mythology. The next figure is number 17, our Centaur Ranger. So the Centaurs are, again, a recently playable race, but they weren't made playable in Theros. They were made playable in the other Magic setting that D&D adapted, Ravnica. But they are kind of nomadic tribes in Theros, and so you can encounter them. Some are very violent, other ones are a bit more friendly, and so you do get quite a bit of variation there, so you can get a lot of use out of this figure as well, or you can use them as a playable character. And then we have another soldier-looking figure. This is okay. This is the Akroan Hoplite, number 2. So this is kind of what I thought this figure might be. Both from Akros. This does have its own stat block for the Hoplite, along with stats for the other 2 major polises as well, Miletus and Satessa. And so each of them, I think, because each city has its own personality, with Miletus representing Athens and Satessa representing the other real-world city of Themyscira. Kidding there. Amazonian and all that. So each of those stat blocks are a bit different to represent the way those cities fight. But yeah, you can see that these 2 figures go together quite well. Both have the kind of Greek helmet style thing, and so they'll work nicely. You can use them as soldiers or as playable characters. And then finally, we have, this one's scary, Aphemia, the Dissonant Song, number 35. So this is another rare, I guess. So I think we lucked out with them. Yeah, you get up to 3 rares in a break, and so this is 4 boxes, possibly from a break, possibly not. They were just sent loose to us by WizKids. But yeah, Aphemia is a harpy. So these are pretty common. There's actually 2 new harpy stat blocks in Mythic Odysseys of Theros, and this is actually a named creature who hangs out by Asphodel. Again, another reference to our Grey Merchant here. It's a city of the undead, the returned, which we talked about a little bit with the Eidolons. And she uses her song to kind of lure the undead to go on raids, to kind of make them a bit more violent and scary. And so that seems to be all of our figures for now. We did film some of these figures on the WarLock Tiles terrain, so you can see them in action. Again, because with these large figures, they're supposed to be on plastic bases to help you see them better, regardless what's underneath them, whether it's gridded paper, a 2D battle map, or 3D terrain. And so wanted to let you see how well that works. Overall, the quality is great. I like how colorful some of the figures are, and there's a high level of detail. Many have translucent effects or a layer of clear plastic with embedded glitter to simulate that Nyxborn Starfield look. In some cases, it looks great. In other cases, it looks more slimy than shiny, which is neat in its own way. A lot of these figures can be used in D&D, but in some cases, like the Lamia or the Basilisk, they don't look the same as your typical version, and you may prefer to homebrew a stat for it or use it as a different creature altogether. Many thanks to WizKids again for providing these preview boxes to us. Thank you also to the Deck of Many for their continued sponsorship of our channel. This month they have, in my opinion, their best Big Bad Booklet boss monster yet. The Big Bad Booklet series is a monthly zine about boss monsters for 5th edition. Each one introduces you to a new Big Bad that you can drop into your ongoing 5e campaigns. It includes everything from stat blocks to role-playing information to new mechanics and story hooks. This month, come meet King Bllrk. He is a sentient gelatinous cube with a taste for the finer things in life and an army of chef goons at his disposal. King Bllrk, he'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Learn more and subscribe today at bigbadbooklet.com. Thanks for watching today, and don't forget to enter our giveaway, be a subscriber, and share with us in the comment section down below a cool story idea for a Theros or Greece-inspired adventure for a chance to win one of these booster boxes when the set comes out August 2020. You can also chat with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you're doing well, and we'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.